Good morning, students. In the previous class, we studied about national movement, and the national movement can be divided into three phases, which are they? Moderate nationalism, extreme nationalism, and Gandhian era. Then we studied about moderate nationalism. The period from 1885 to 1905 was of moderate nationalism. Today, we study about extreme nationalism. Partition of Bengal. The seat of the British government in India was Bengal. In the previous chapter, we have learned Bengal was the first to be conquered by the British. What was the reason? Because Bengal was rich in agricultural prosperity and convenient trade facilities. So, Bengal was the first to be conquered by the British. The seat of the British government in India was Bengal. The main place ruled by the British was Bengal. People of Bengal had been living like brothers. People of Bengal living like brothers. They had been carrying out various activities against the policies of the British government. The people of Bengal living like brothers, and the people of Bengal had done various activities against the policies of the British. So, the British authorities decided to divide the united Bengal because the people of Bengal living like brothers. So, the British authorities decided in 1904, Bengal the had Secretary been of Home divided. Affairs Risley observed Bengal united is power. Bengal divided will pull several different ways. One of our main objectives is to split up and thereby weaken a solid body of opponents to our rule. In 1904, the Secretary of Home Affairs Risley observed Bengal is a united power. The participation of people in Bengal in the national movement threatened the Britishers. So, the British authorities decided the Bengal must be divided. The British believed that Bengal was divided, it would reduce the strength of the agitators against their rule. The British officials treated Bengal as a growing power against the British rule. The British officials treated Bengal as a rising force against the British rule. In this background, the Viceroy Lord Curzon divided Bengal in 1905. In 1905, the Viceroy Lord Curzon divided Bengal. Who divided Bengal? Viceroy Lord Curzon. In which year? 1905. What were the factors that led the British to divide Bengal? What are the factors? First one, people of Bengal had been living like brothers. And the people of Bengal carrying out various activities against the policies of the British government. Another factor, The British believed if Bengal was divided, it would reduce the strength of the agitators against their rule. Then the Viceroy Lord Curzon divided Bengal in 1905. National dailies, poets, and social leaders strongly opposed the partition. National dailies are ദേശീയ പത്രങ്ങൾ. National dailies, poets, and social leaders strongly opposed against the partition of Bengal. The great poet Rabindranath Tagore made his stand on the partition explicit. He stated that the East and West Bengal are the two chambers of the same heart, which is made fertile by the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. It is the warm blood originating from these vessels that flows through the arteries of the Bengalis. What was the opinion of Rabindranath Tagore about the partition of Bengal? He stated that the East Bengal and the West Bengal are the two chambers of the same heart. ഈസ്റ്റ് ബംഗാളും വെസ്റ്റ് ബംഗാളും ഒരു ഹൃദയത്തിൻ്റെ രണ്ടറകളാണ്. ഇതിനെ ഫെർട്ടൈൽ ആക്കുന്നത് ആരാണ്? ഗംഗയും ബ്രഹ്മപുത്രയും. ഈ അറകളിൽ നിന്നുത്ഭവിക്കുന്ന ചുടുരക്തമാണ് ബംഗാളികളുടെ സിരകളിലൂടെ ഒഴുകുന്നത്. The agitations against the partition stirred Bengal. Agitations, സമരങ്ങൾ, stirred, ഇളക്കി മറിക്കുക. The agitations against the partition stirred Bengal. How did the people of Bengal protest against the partition? Organized protest meetings. Protest meetings, പ്രതിഷേധ യോഗങ്ങൾ സംഘടിപ്പിച്ചു. Picketed shops that sold foreign goods. Burned foreign clothes. Promoted the use of Indian products. Promote ചെയ്യുക, പ്രേരിപ്പിച്ചു. ഇന്ത്യൻ നിർമ്മിത സാധനങ്ങൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ പ്രേരിപ്പിച്ചു. Organized marches and public meetings against the British. How did the people of Bengal protest against the partition? Organized protest meetings, picketed shops that sold foreign goods, burned foreign clothes, promoted the use of Indian products, organized marches and public meetings against the British. A boycott of sugar. പഞ്ചസാരയ്ക്കും വിലക്ക്. What was the main slogan of the agitations against the partition of Bengal? Boycott foreign goods and use Swadeshi products. This was the main slogan of the agitations against the partition of Bengal. The people were exhorted. അവർ ആഹ്വാനം ചെയ്തു. എന്താണ്? ഇറ്റ് ബോയ്ക്കോട്ട് ഈവൻ വെഡ്ഡിംഗ് ടീ പാർട്ടീസ് വെയർ ഫോറിൻ മെയ്ഡ് ഷുഗർ വാസ് യൂസ്ഡ്. വിദേശ നിർമ്മിത ഷുഗർ വെഡ്ഡിംഗ് ടീ പാർട്ടീസിൽ ബോയ്ക്കോട്ട് ചെയ്യുക, ബഹിഷ്കരിക്കുക. Then they promoted jaggery instead of sugar. The nationalists promoted jaggery, ശർക്കര. Jaggery instead of sugar. ഷുഗറിന് പകരം എന്ത് പ്രൊമോട്ട് ചെയ്തു നാഷണലിസ്റ്റ്? ജാഗറി. Considering the intensity of the agitations, the British government was compelled to withdraw the partition. Intensity of the agitation, സമരത്തിൻ്റെ തീക്ഷ്ണത. Compelled to withdraw the partition. ബംഗാൾ വിഭജനം പിൻവലിക്കേണ്ടി വരിക. As the struggle of the people of Bengal intensified, the British government had to cancel the partition of Bengal. As a result, In 1911, Viceroy Lord Hardinge cancelled the partition of Bengal. Who divided Bengal? Lord Curzon. In which year? 1905. Who cancelled the partition of Bengal? Lord Hardinge. In which year? 1911. In what ways are the agitations against the partition of Bengal different from the protests of the moderate phase? The moderates was to bring the common problems and demands to the notice of the British government by means of petitions, resolutions and protests. But the agitations against the partition of Bengal was quite different from the protest of moderate. The people of Bengal protest against the partition. They organized protest meetings, picketed shops that sold foreign goods, burned foreign clothes. They organized marches and public meetings against the British. Boycott foreign goods and use Swadeshi products was the main slogan of the agitations against the partition of Bengal. Then we study about extreme nationalism. The period of agitations followed by the partition of Bengal brought a new turn in the national movement and it was known as the period of extreme nationalism. After the partition of Bengal, the national movement turned a new phase and it was known as the period of extreme nationalism. The period from 1905 to 1919 was of extreme nationalism. The period of extreme nationalism 1905 to 1919. The main leaders of extreme nationalism were Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal and Lala Lajpat Rai. They were jointly known as Lal Bal Pal. Who were known as Lal Bal Pal? Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal. They were the main leaders of the extreme nationalism. The activities of these leaders won countrywide attention and inspired the mass. The activities of extremists were inspired the people and won countrywide attention. Bal Gangadhar Tilak was the main leader of the extreme nationalism. He was known as Lokmanya. Bal Gangadhar Tilak was known as Lokmanya. His newspapers are Maratha and Kesari. His famous slogan, Swaraj is my birthright and I must have it. സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യം എൻ്റെ ജന്മാവകാശമാണ്, ഞാനത് നേടുക തന്നെ ചെയ്യും. Bal Gangadhar Tilak was the main leader of the extreme nationalism. He was known as Lokmanya. His famous newspapers were Maratha and Kesari. His famous slogan, Swaraj is my birthright and I must have it. Then All India Muslim League. The All India Muslim League was formed by Aga Khan and Nawab Salimullah Khan in Dhaka in 1906 during the movement against the partition of Bengal. At the time of the partition of Bengal, the All India Muslim League was formed. Who were the founders of the All India Muslim League? Aga Khan and Nawab Salimullah Khan. When was All India Muslim League formed? In 1906. Where? In Dhaka. The All India Muslim League was formed by Aga Khan and Nawab Salimullah Khan in Dhaka in 1906. 1906. When was All India Muslim League formed? In 1906. Who were the founders of All India Muslim League? Aga Khan and Nawab Salimullah Khan. Next, Surat split. After the partition of Bengal, the national movement became stronger. In this period, moderates and extremists shared certain differences in political views and methods. There were differences of opinion between the moderates and the extremists regarding the agitation against the partition of Bengal. This led to the split in the Congress. This split happened All India session at Surat in 1907. At which session of the Indian National Congress did the moderates and the extremists split? At Surat session in 1907. All India session of Congress in Surat in 1907, the moderates and the extremists split into two. This incident was known as Surat split. As a result of this split, the national movement became temporarily weakened. Next, Home Rule movements. After the split in the Congress in 1907, the national movement was weak. In 1914, the First World War broke out. What was the period of the First World War? 1914 to 1918. The Congress supported Britain in the First World War with the hope that India would be granted autonomy after the war. Autonomy means Swayambharanam. ഫസ്റ്റ് വേൾഡ് വാറിന് ശേഷം ഇന്ത്യക്ക് സ്വയംഭരണം ലഭിക്കും എന്ന പ്രതീക്ഷയിൽ കോൺഗ്രസ് ആരെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തു? ബ്രിട്ടനെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തു. At this time, Britain declared that India was on Britain's side. During this time, Bala Gangadhar Tilak and Annie Besant started Home Rule movements. The term Home Rule is borrowed from the national movement in Ireland. Bala Gangadhar Tilak started Home Rule movement at Pune and Annie Besant started Home Rule movement at Madras. During the First World War, Home Rule movement kept the national movement alive. Annie Besant was an Irish lady. She attracted the Indian culture and took Indian citizenship in 1893. In which year Annie Besant get the Indian citizenship? 1893. Annie Besant started Home Rule movement in 1960. Annie Besant started Home Rule movement at Madras. Next, Lucknow Pact. The Lucknow session of the Indian National Congress was held in 1916 when the Home Rule movements were active. In which year was Lucknow session held? In 1916. The Lucknow session of the Indian National Congress was held in 1916. At this time, the Home Rule movements were active. The moderates and the extremists who split in the Surat session decided to give up their difference of opinion and join together. In the Lucknow session, moderates and extremists decided to work together. In which year moderates and extremists split? At Surat session in 1907. In the Lucknow session of the Indian National Congress in 1916, the moderates and the extremists decided to give up. Give up means ഉപേക്ഷിക്കുക. To give up their difference of opinion and join together. They decided to work together. They also decided to cooperate with the All India Muslim League in the anti-British agitations. They also decided to cooperate with the All India Muslim League. Why did the moderates and the extremists cooperate with the All India Muslim League? To organize anti-British struggles together. This lesson is over. What we learned in this lesson? We learned Renaissance leaders and their movements. Then the formation of Indian National Congress. Then we learned about the phases of national movement. Everyone read this chapter as well. Today's class is winding up.